making an album is not necessarily cheap. And I just gone through that whole debacle with funding and going through all that, and I was just like, you know what, I need to figure something out as an independent. How am I going to do this? That was the day I decided I'm going to do this campaign and I'm going to make it happen, and failing at this is just not even an option. I decided that I will pledge for $20,000 and that I want to raise it within 30 days.
I don't know if it's sad or sweet. You're still the greatest love story of my life, life, life.
My, that's a fancy beat. Woo! Fat guitars, baby, fat guitars. Sunday morning was a bright and sunny.
I think there's a place for original music anywhere in the world, and I think Dubai is not any different from any other kind of major city in the world. A lot of people complain that there's a lack of a local music scene or a lack of support for local artists and not enough people creating original content, but I think you have to remember that Dubai is still a very young city.
Around the clock, but I can never see. This is the story of you and me. Around the clock, but I can never see. This is the story of you and me.
Yeah, there's some really good local music coming out in the UAE, more so than ever that I feel. I've been here since 2007 and now I'm really hearing some good music. Of course, Dia and the boys from Juliana Down, I've always really loved their music. I think it's great. They're also evolving in sound right now, so I think it's really, really cool. I think it's music that can be played on an international level.
Juliana Down is definitely one of my favorites because I love bands like Maroon 5 and stuff like that. And the first time I actually saw them live was when they opened for Maroon 5. I think it was at the World Trade Center, and I was just like, wow. And I love bands, and I think they're one of those bands that has that professional band sound that could be like anywhere in the world. You know, it could be one of those top bands anywhere in the world.
Music here is great, we just need a bigger platform for it to be shared.
I was born in Lebanon and I basically grew up in Abu Dhabi. So I was here from 1985 and you know, lived most of my life over here, did a bit of traveling with the band and mainly actually with music across Europe, States and different countries. But formed the band when I was in high school, grade 8 I think, and then got kicked out of school because we played the first show. And it was, I remember it was a talent show in high school, and the first song we played was Jailhouse Rock, and then we just got pulled off stage and I had a letter to deliver to my parents saying, your son just got kicked out of school for playing rock and roll. So it was quite different back then, but it was an interesting time for us because, you know, we found this thing in music and we just wanted to pursue it, and here we are, I think, what, 10, 11 years later.
I decided to put the band called Bullfunk Zoo, and it's a collective of heavyweights basically, which is Ili Afif on bass, who's an internationally known bass player. He's performed with A.R. Rahman, he still is performing with A.R. Rahman, Ranjit Barot with you know, the Indian greats, and a lot of big jazz artists in New York. And also the band consists of Jeremiah John, which he's got Jeremiah and the Lucky Strikes. He's got his own band going on, he's got his own project. And of course Hamdan Al-Abri and myself. And of course everybody's got their own individual projects together, so Bullfunk Zoo is very much a collective.
With my solo stuff, I just released an EP, and even before that I was with my own band called Aubrey. So while I was kind of promoting my solo stuff, Asad Lais, he was kind of creating this band and that he thought I would be kind of good in, and it was kind of really fun. It was kind of funk and reggae and all the kind of music that I was into. And then he asked me if I wanted to kind of join the band, and I was down for it. You know, I mean, I never thought it was a conflict of interest because the music that I'm doing and music that Bullfunk Zoo is doing is completely different. You know, I mean, it's more funk and reggae. And the music that I was doing was more experimental and more kind of soulful as opposed to. So I never thought it was going to be any conflict of interest. It's been amazing, man. I mean, I consider these guys that I'm working with my brothers. You know, I mean, I love the experience. I love the fact that when I write something new, I get excited, like how I was excited when I first heard my vocals on the track. You know what I mean? It's still I still have the same passion and excitement when I hear something new that I produced or somebody else produced. You know what I mean? So I still have that, and it's a continued journey, man. I just love the fact that as an artist, I'm kind of evolving and trying different stuff, trying to harmonize, trying to experiment with different types of music and different genres as well. So it's never ending, you know what I mean? Which I love.
Came to Dubai and I was working at a music store, a music company as a drums and percussion specialist. I quit my job last year. And from then on, I've just been doing music. It's hard, but you have to keep doing it. You know, it's not easy. Especially when you move to a new place like Dubai, where you have to make a name for yourself again, you know, starting all over from scratch. I record my music and I help out where I can. That's it. I just want to play music. That's it. That's me so far.
So Bullfunk Zoo is very much a collective where lately I've been writing a lot of songs for the new album, which is going to be released soon, maybe in the next couple of months. We're recording next month, and it's going to feature a lot of funk, rock, reggae, the stuff that we enjoy playing, eclecticism, and that's what Bullfunk Zoo is all about. You know, it's good fun music, a lot of good musical integrity based on a lot of funk, rock, and reggae. Dubstep, there's all kinds of stuff in there. Rounding up my whole life in a little nutshell, I left NBC, which is the television station I worked for 7 years. I left them last year because I've been doing a lot of gigs anyway, and I decided that's it, I need to really just focus on my music and the musical world. So I left the daytime job, and I'm in my 30s right now, and I figured I'm just going to focus on music. And here I am.
I'm Anushka Anand, and people know me as Noush like Sploosh, and I'm an interdisciplinary artist in Dubai, and I work as an animator and a singer-songwriter, and as an illustrator as well sometimes. I started performing in Bombay in 2009, and just at people's houses and stuff like that, and then it kind of went into a couple of open mics, and then I got a few gigs there. And then I was gigging quite a lot before I left, and I came to Dubai actually just to work on an album, which I'm still working on. I'm in my 3rd version of it. And I grew up here, and my family lives here, and I just found that I had a lot of time and space to work, so I stayed, and I started getting work. And then I started gigging here.
My name is Gayathri and I'm a singer-songwriter. I was born in India but raised in Dubai. Moved here when I was 7 years old and lived here ever since. My parents still live here. I grew up in a house of music. My mom is a Indian classical music teacher. My dad is a obsessive archiver of Indian classical music concerts. Music has always been something that has kept us all together, has been a common thread in all our lives. And I think I always knew that I wanted to be in music and I wanted to sing. But the songwriter part of it came much later. When I started performing, it was purely for the fact that here are some songs I've written, I hope you like it kind of thing. It wasn't very much, it wasn't a very strong desire to be like, this is it, I'm gonna do it. But I think with every day, the desire to be a musician full-time and to make that my life, not just a career, because that's kind of a light word for what I feel about music. That sort of grew every day with every gig, with every person I met, with every song that I wrote. It was a gradual process. I don't think there was one day where I was like, this is it, I'm doing this. So I had come up with the idea of movement, which is this collaboration of artists and musicians from the UAE. It would be the first of its kind, which was a homegrown, musical and visual experience. Basically went on 1 million corporate meetings, met a lot of, suits in the process. And but at the same time met some amazing artists and musicians who were on the same high as I was, which was to make something completely new that nobody had experienced in the region. And I think that was part of its downfall, because people here do not like to take too many risks on things that they haven't seen or experienced before. If you know Dubai, you know that there is a sort of culture of, imported talent. A lot of times the biggest shows, the biggest draws come to shows and artists that are from, who are internationally acclaimed and have the numbers to prove it, There's not much of a homegrown culture. That's slowly happening, very slowly. And at that point, I guess it was too much to handle, because people didn't know what to reference it to. So they would often be like, but what is it going to look like? And as much as you would describe it, they'd be like, can you tell me what it might look like, reference it to something? And I'd be like, no, it's the first of its kind. So if you were to lend support, then you'd be able to be a part of a new experience.
It doesn't really help me out. I mean, it's tough because there isn't much of a music scene when Aubrey first started, it was kind of tough for us to get gigs because we were only playing original music. We weren't playing any covers. But at the positive side, or at the more positive side of things, it was the fact that I was a UAE national and I was doing music. So I mean, I think that kind of helped me as well. But as far as starting out, it was tough because we couldn't get any gigs and people were a little skeptic about the fact that it was a local band from Dubai or UAE that was playing soul music. I mean, it was kind of unheard of at that time. So it was tough. At the same time, we had our pros and cons,
Unfortunately, by mid-2000, I think it was by mid-2000, they stopped a lot of the jam sessions because of the entertainment permits in clubs and bars, which legally you have to be on permission to be able to perform live anywhere. These are the rules and laws and regulations in Dubai.
It's really hard because it's something that's no one has ever done this before from this part. So, if you want to say, is there a certain formula for somebody to be successful, or is there a certain formula for someone to cross over and become an international rock star? From this part of the world, there isn't, especially with today's music industry. It's completely different than the way it was, like let's say back in the 90s or 80s. So you don't get record sales anymore, and it's all about playing shows. So the whole formula changed, and with YouTube stars like Justin Bieber taking over the world, and things have completely sort of moved around at the moment. And I think yes, you do get a lot of access online and on the internet, but at the same time, you just have to keep focused, stay dedicated, and always think out of the box. The crazier the ideas that you have in your mind, the better probably they are.
Every day you'll get CDs, you'll get music come through to Virgin Radio. It won't just be through me, we all receive them. We all receive emails, oh my God, check this, Facebooks, oh my God, do this. It's non-stop, and 95% of it's not good. 5% is usually pretty good. But it's not saying that the 95% should stop doing what they're doing, it's just they're not at the stage where they should even be approaching radio stations.
It's always the same issues, man. It's just the fact that radio stations should kind of play more of the local artists. The permits, the license permits that you need to get in order to perform somewhere needs to kind of be either relaxed or completely abolished, you know what I mean?
I remember Hamdan, and those days he had a keyboard player as well. And I was surprised. I was like, okay, something's moving. Obviously then when Hamdan started singing, I was totally blown away. I mean, I realized what potential guy has. So he was one of the first new coming bands, to say, in the scene, but still scene was very, very poor those days. Usually nowadays the young upcoming bands, they come to me and they ask me like, okay, what is the way to record, what is the way to produce an album and stuff like that. Sorry, I usually tell them, okay, start with rehearsals. Let's see how your material really is ready to be recorded. And then usually we go with a couple of rehearsals, we're listening the stuff together, we discuss things together, we see where things could be improved. It's something that is called like pre-production process. If we see that there are weak points, like rhythm section that need more to get together, to practice more, we just let them know that getting into studio too early, it will cost them extra money. That obviously here in Dubai people, I don't want to say that we are poor here in Dubai, not at all, but it's not easy to spare money for something that unfortunately people still consider like a hobby.
They were supportive in the fact that there's this person out there who's passionately pursuing this idea. They didn't really put their money where their mouth was, basically. We'd go to a point where they'd agree to something and pull out. And this happened quite a few times. It was a very heartbreaking experience because it started off as an idea to showcase my music, but it slowly and very surely became a coming together of artists, hundreds of artists, literally, which would have been an amazing thing for the Middle Eastern region, because it's never happened and it still hasn't happened, and I hope that I can make it happen someday. But at that point, it just kept hitting wall after wall after wall. But the upside of that was, no matter what was happening on the business side of things, creatively, we were really having fun. We did so much. I learned so much through the experience. Every rejection was a lesson learned. That being said, it doesn't mean that it didn't hurt. We went to certain meetings where I literally felt like I was talking to a wall because they didn't understand anything that I was saying. All they wanted to know is, how many times is our logo going to appear on the brochure, or what kind of exposure are we going to get. It was never about, oh, this is something new and maybe something that might really be a milestone in cultural history of the region. Nobody was really interested in that at that point.
When movement didn't work, when the funding fell through for movement, that was really disappointing for everybody involved, because we all put a certain amount of time in, And you know, I know it was devastating for Gayathri because she had put, I mean, it was her, you know, it was her baby basically. So she bounced back really impressively and moved straight on to another project. But you know, when funding falls through and you put so much effort into something, it's heartbreak really. It is. This was a great project because Lonely at Night was a great project because I got the funding and it came through, and they were super efficient and professional and extremely helpful and supportive to us as artists. So, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out and then sometimes it does. So some projects fall through and then sometimes some projects go through. Lonely at Night is a song that I wrote a couple of years ago, and the idea for the video happened about at the same time, and then I've been thinking about it since then. So it's taken me a long time to think about how to get it done and how to execute it technically, because I didn't really have the skills. So I started teaching myself After Effects and meeting different animators and stuff and sort of seeing, okay, how can I get this done? And then Sika opened up funding. And I found out about that, so I applied and I got some funding, which was amazing. So I was able to work with other people, and yeah, we shot part of it in the garage, and so part of it was shot in a style that's called pixelation, which is when you use human bodies for animation, and the other half of it was done inside a roll right here in my computer because I was animating it on the computer. And the thing is that when I get an idea for something, it doesn't really arrive in one particular format. You know, it's like when I download, you know, I download this song and the MP3 comes with the CD artwork and with the music video attached. All I have to do is execute it. So I feel that if I don't execute it, then I'm really letting myself down and I'm letting the story down. And I feel that the story, anytime you download a story from wherever the hell this ideas come from, I mean, it's coming to you for a reason, and I have a whole theology behind that. But essentially, the idea comes that way, and so all I'm really doing is seeing it through. And it's a bit of a compulsion because you know, like this idea, I've had enough reason not to do it for the longest time. I've had definitely better, more important things to do, but I'm not very happy with myself until I finish it. And when I'm doing it in the process, like this week is like the happiest week for me in the last 2 years probably, because you know I'm putting my energy into this. So it's compulsion really, bit of a disorder.
But I get lonely at night.
Started nearly 6 years ago, really because of a complete lack of platform for the performing arts in the city. And this, obviously the performing arts need a place to be performed, and a platform such as the Fridge allows where we encourage collaboration, experimentation, which are all important pillars of creative development. And starved of those, I think it's my belief and the belief of the Fridge team that being starved of those two things, experimentation and the collaborative side of things, really clogs the growth and the flow of the music scene. So having a place where an artist can come and play their music in the way that they want to, as to their vision, and not to please anyone, and also a platform that allows something that's quite raw, where an artist can get feedback and have that feeling of what it's like to put something out to the public and to an attentive and listening public. I don't think music is reaching everyone here, and I think there are many reasons for that. And I feel that Dubai is moving out of a phase where, for want of a better term, that I think of the sort of expatism, where there was a real sense of communities, and so an Australian artist came, you would appeal to the Australian business group, and things would go out to specific audiences. And I think that I'm hopeful that we move to a more integrated future, and I think that will impact the artistic side of things, because it's so much more interesting.
Music is one of those things that you don't have to be a certain type of person from a certain country to understand music. Music is music. I mean, I've listened to songs in other languages and you can still understand, get a gist of what the music is about. Just because I'm Indian, does that mean I can't listen to English music? Does that mean I can't listen to Spanish music? Does that mean I can't listen to Arabic music? No. You know, it's cliche, but music has no boundaries. So why would multicultural, like that setting, be a hurdle for music? Not at all.
I will be back for you somehow, someday.
One of the reasons that movement probably didn't happen is because not enough people know about me, or not enough people will take that kind of chance on technically someone who's a newbie. So I said, okay, I'm gonna strengthen what I do, who I am. I'm gonna work really hard. I'm gonna put out music that everybody's gonna be into, or at least want to support, and really work hard at, you know, me as a singer-songwriter and not in collaboration with anyone else. And at that point I decided I'm going to put out a new single and I'm going to do my first music video. And that's when Champion of Broken Hearts happened, and that was a real turning point in my story up to date, I think.
Jump kicked in the heart, defeated from the start, champion of broken hearts, ding ding ding. Jump kicked in the heart, defeated from the start, champion of broken hearts, ding ding ding.
I decided that I will pledge for $20,000 and that I want to raise it within 30 days. That was what I decided to do on Indiegogo video. And it all sort of happened like, yeah, we're doing this, you know. It wasn't, nobody stopped to be like, oh my god, we're trying to raise $20,000, you know. Everybody was just like, let's just do it, you can do it, you know, we'll get the support, it'll happen. From the first day, within the first 6 hours, I had already made about $6,000 because we'd done like a really crazy campaign before, just spreading the word about it, tweeting about it, Facebook, you know, all the networks, email blasts, whatever you can think of, you know, shouting from the rooftops, whatever, we did it all. And we did it as a team, and everybody was so invested in the fact that this is gonna happen. And it was surreal. We made that money in 10 days. Purely because everybody involved was so committed, was so sure that it was gonna happen for us. And also that, in a way, I guess, they believed that I was going to make it happen for myself.
In midair, the wind takes our hands and guides us there. Gayathri asked me if I wanted to be part of it. I said that definitely. First of all, it was a pleasure to be on a track with her, and second of all is because that song particularly was a kind of challenge for me, because it was different to what I usually do musically, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, definitely, let's just tackle this and let's do it. And I mean, thankfully she likes what I did, so that's a good thing.
Producing Gayathri's album was just an amazing experience. I mean, the fact that she managed to get the album crowdfunded, which I think is a first here in the Middle East, to the fact that she came to the project with so many ideas and basically a full collection of songs. She conceptualizes everything, and it was so much fun kind of interpreting what she wants and then bring what I do to the table, and that kind of melted together into this new kind of product. And I don't think like either of us have really foreseen how it could have, you know, turned out in the end. So all I can really say is that it was a very magical experience, and you know, I'm very, very proud of the way the album's turned out. I think that there is a huge amount of support here, and you know, relative to the size of the city. So you can't compare Dubai to a city like London or New York or LA or wherever, where there's been a music industry for hundreds of years. So you know, you have to take things relative to what they are. And I think if you look at it like that, I think Dubai is a very supportive city. And whenever someone does do something that is original and new and people like it, I mean, you get a lot of fans and people will come to your show.
Music is just not about giving, it's also about receiving and taking what belongs to you. As in, you just have to make time for everybody. As in, if you're playing, just make sure that you deliver what you say you will deliver. So I think that's just the key. Be determined, be focused, work hard, train hard, stay strong, make music.
I don't want it to become a job. I want it to be something that I love and look forward to each and every day, as opposed to like, oh, I have to do music, or I have to create now, you know what I mean? I don't want it to be a hindrance, more of something that kind of lifts me up and makes me be me, you know?
It's living the spur of the moment. What I was like telling you, what inspires me is like being true and honest to the moment, that you're expecting the unexpected. Let's live that expectation of the unexpected. You know, that abundant source of energy that you get from that little spark. I don't know if I'm making any sense to you. You kind of have to be in that moment to feel it.
So no, Dubai's fantastic. We need some more live places though, for live bands to perform. And you know, people always say we need this, but if they do build it, we've got to make sure that we go out and support the live music, you know, and go and buy the CDs and go to their shows. So it's baby steps, but we're here, we're getting there, Dubai, slowly, you know.
But here, it could be anything. And that's what's beautiful about it. So yeah, man, I'd love to see more commitment from media platforms to showcase, you know, locally produced talent, locally produced art, whether it's, you know, anything, filmmaking, music, acting, theater, whatever it is. And there's a lot of it.
People are very optimistic. I find that the other artists are really encouraging. They're very good at collaboration, and they're very focused and quite dedicated, because it's not, I guess, the easiest city, because there's not an immediate, obvious art culture here. So people tend to work quite hard to create what they create.
Believe it or not, there's about 40 bands now that are active. Some of them are, yes, they are cover bands, but some of them are really into music. They produce, they write their stuff, they record CDs. Some of them already have like second, third CD out. And I look pretty optimistic. I mean, we're moving somewhere in a positive direction.
You know, daring to do things differently. No, you know, working around the many limitations that we might face today. You know, raising their voice and trying to make things better in terms of laws, in terms of things, venues to perform, you know, different, like maybe there'll be more festivals here, independent festivals. I mean, one of my dreams is to see a venue that's designed specifically for artists who are not like, you know, they're not big massive rock acts or have like crazy you know, stage antics, but it's more intimate concerts that are where you sit down and actually listen to music, and it's not about, you know, mosh pits and like, you know, because those kinds of things, there's already, you know, lots of venues that cater to that kind of music. I think a great scene could be established, and we're a big part of it, and you know, being part of its growth and it's from its beginning to where it's going, I'm very proud of that. So I'm just going to continue doing my part, and I'm pretty sure everyone else who's out there is going to continue doing what they do, and they do them so beautifully, so I think it'll be great.
I wanna be, so set me free.